Hey, from episode 203. I ain't gonna lie. This episode just was, I watched last week's episode and I was really into last week's episode. Obviously, you guys know that. But I have to say, I'm really into this episode as well. Another thing I just want to point out is that when you have an episode or a series like this and there's a lot of kills in it and a lot of blood, guts, and gore, if you're a blood guts and gore person, if you want to watch a lot of blood guts and gore, this don't have that much in it, but when it does go to the blood guts and gore, it does a good job with it. So um, there's so many things in this that's just I had to write everything down because I get tired of getting in front of this camera, just forgetting what I was going to say. But episode 203, it opens up with Boyd and his son Ellis, and Sheriff Boyd and their son. He's sitting in there. That was a good moment. Him and his son was saying, I love that. God, this is a good show. But anyway, him and his son he said, Dad, how'd you get back? He goes, so you gonna tell me, Dad, you teleported? Then he's like, yeah, really? He said, so the girl that he was with, I found out what her name was. Her name is Sarah. I think she's hot anyway. So she's one of when I first seen her, I was like, man, that girl's fine. But anyway, I was like, she was trying to kill that little boy. You guys obviously know that. But anyway, I was like, God, I really like the way that girl looks though, by the way. But anyway, I was like, when is she coming back anyway? But we'll get to that. So he was like, so Sarah's behind you, but then he's like, so you was inside of a tree? He goes, yeah. And then his son got a little mad, like, he's like, what's going on, son? Because his son was thinking, hey, you're not, I was surprised at his son's reaction because after all what his son seen, I was like, man, dude, you not seen a lot since you guys been there. Because, they went through that horrifying night where all the new people from the bus got killed. But anyway, I love that scene. And then I don't know that cocky white dude's name, but man, that cocky white dude, man, I am loving his character, man, because him and Boyd had that little standoff, man, and Boyd's like, because he said, who the fuck are you, man? Pardon my French, because I don't like to cuss a lot. And he's like, I'm the sheriff. And he's like, and Boyd stood his ground, but I'm liking that cocky white dude. Next week I'll get his character name down, because I don't like using those. I call it the black chick, the husky white chick. I'm getting their names down, but I'm liking that cocky white dude though. I think he's gonna play an important role, but he's like, and him and Boyd had that little standoff, man. Boyd's like, we don't allow no weapons, only the sheriff people. He goes, who made you? And he's asking who are you? He said, I'm the sheriff, But that was a good standoff. Man, when Victor got back, I knew Victor was gonna be mad because he knew somebody was in his room. And I found out what that guy's name was. That guy's name is Jade. I think his name is Jade. Because he went in his room and the Matthews little boy they was looking at all his pictures. But when Kenny come back, I think the character's name is Jade. I'm trying to find his name on here, but Jade was playing with his I didn't even know that violin was his. Victor's like, give it back. Give it back, and then he ended up he said, let me play it for a little bit longer. He said, no, let me play. He said, no, I want my violin back. That was a good competition because Victor went and hunted him down, man. He knew that, Victor knew that he's in his room. It's funny, he's got the same name I do. But anyway, I love that part. Uh, uh, but man, when Kenny and the deputy, and Ellis went out there, Ellis was going to pick some flowers because his dad told him, why don't you get some flowers for your girl? Because, his girl, his fiance is going under a lot of stress. But anyway, I'm trying to watch my time. But anyway, and, after they had their little talk, they give each other a hug. He said, go get her some flowers. So he's out there getting flowers. And then Kitty, the deputy, said, man, why don't you help, man, instead of picking those flowers? But then they come across this phone making this noise, and there was this girl that had a rod in her head. And come find out, these things made those people that kill people at night, made her watch as they killed her boyfriend, and then they stuck that rod in her head through that thing. I was like, holy crap. I was like, oh my Lord, man, it just looked so painful. And their expression when they walked up on her, like, whoa. And it freaked me out, man. It really, really freaked me out. And Kenny the deputy, and Ellis, man, they was just their expression, man, was like. So they run in town to that chick, man, that's got her fiance. And there's a connection with that too, because there's a part where the dad, when they rescued him from the house, they found somebody told him that that girl's fiance was on the bus, and he's like, on the bus. And then there was two scenes where they was talking about her fiance was on the bus, which is that other chick, and they's like, that's a little weird that she was on that bus and that bus brought her here, you know. And that was a little moment. I was like, that is a good point. But anyway, they were trying to talk, and then when they seen that girl was up against the street, Kenny ran into town to go get her. So when they were trying to talk, Kenny interrupted. I noticed every time they, you know, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm not into it. I'm like, oh, here we go with this some more. Here we go. And I'm like watching. I'm like, and the way they're doing those two girls, which are lovers and they're together, they're really doing a good job because they're doing it to where she's like, she just got there. She's seen her girl that she don't know whatever happened to her. They're still in love there, but she's pissed. And then she didn't realize that a bunch of people got killed last night. And then she's still upset over her girlfriend, and she didn't know where she was at. So, you know, they're doing a good job. Instead of like most movies, I'm going to tell you this about most movies. Most movies just shove all that out the way. They go right to love making and booty licking and getting into bed, just tossing and turning. I'm like, what about what's going on? What's going on? They're so focused on the situation they're in. She can't understand how she left and where she was at. She's still trying to cope with that. They still care for each other. And then Kenny, when he's out picking flowers, Ellis was telling him, I know you're a little upset over, you know, because Kenny had a shot at that girl. I was hoping he'd get shot with that girl. But I like that other chick for some reason. I really do. I like her character. I like the way she... And then when that Matthews guy was talking to that older lady, I liked that older lady, and she was like, you know, that guy died in your house, and he sat across from me. And then when he went to sit down, he was, you know, he was in pain, and she was like, oh, she goes, we need help in here. And then this girl come out of nowhere, and he goes, who are you? And then she goes, I'm a nurse, or she goes, I think she said she's a nurse or something. And then she helped him get back in bed, and then that's when, you know, he met her. And man, look, they are doing such a really good job with this show. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I am loving this show. Yes, I know, I'm excited. You know why I'm excited? I'll tell you why I'm excited. It's because I love good TV series shows that tells a really good and compelling story. Because if you, and all you people out there, which is not very many that watch this Jason, which is cool, because I ain't trying to be no YouTuber. I got a job. I live a normal life, man, and I ain't trying to be no multi-million, bazillion view type, subscriber type of dude. Would it be nice? Yeah, but anyway, I'm asking you guys, what would you do in a situation like that? Seriously. I mean, if you was in a situation like that, wouldn't you be freaked out? You know, you got to watch everything you do. And where's all the food coming from? And you know, they touch bases on the food. Because when Boyd talked to the chick that's, I used to call her the big husky chick, her name is Donna. See? You see that? I found out her name. Her name is Donna. Donna's starting to unravel a little bit because she's under a lot of stress. And she needs Boyd to step up to the plate, because there was a moment when her and Boyd was in that greenhouse, and she was like, Boyd, I need you to be here. She goes, I'm about to lose, and I'm about to break down. She goes, I feel like I'm responsible for a lot of people dying last night. And then Boyd was talking about, you know, when he was in the military and how it had the same name of that guy, and how the they was in Iraq, his first tour, and the Jeep, the vehicle they was in blew up, and the guy died in his arms, and the two guys died instantly, and all that. And then, you know, and then he was talking to her, and then he stopped, and she's like, oh, you're just gonna walk away? She goes, why don't you talk to me? She goes, don't start something. You know, that was a very, very good scene. Very, very good scene. And what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is this is why I like this show. This show ain't doing a bunch of stupid, and I'm going to say this, dumbass, Hollywood, ridiculous shit that they throw in there, people boning and doing all this stuff, making love, when it has nothing to do with the situation that they're in. I'm quite sure all that goes on. When I watch a show and I see that, I'm going like, really? You got time to... I love making love to girls. God knows how much I love women. But in a situation like that, in a chaotic moment like that, you won't have time for that. You really don't. Maybe when you chill out, maybe later on at night, and you got a little pause between all the kills and all the chaos, You might have time for that. It might be a few days when nothing's going wrong, but you know, when something goes wrong, those things are extremely smart. But anyway, and that kid asked that girl about that lake. And then, you know, when they pulled that rod out, man, I was just about ready to start. I was about ready. That really got me because they was holding on to her. And I like when, that, you know, Christy had to pull that rod out and she told that girl, yeah, you're going to die. And she was just, you know, they held on to her, and then, you know, and then she died in her hand. And then, now they was all so shaken up over that. And then what's your name? You know, Ellis went back to tell his girlfriend, you know, could he get married? And I sit there, she gonna probably say no. Know what? She gonna say no. That's a woman for you. She gonna say no. Women just love to just break men's heart or do shit to throw a curveball in there to mess you all up for some unknown reason. Hey, girl, we've been together forever. Why don't we just get married? Shoot. But she did say yeah. I was sitting in my chair saying, yes. I was like, all right. She said yes. I was like, cool. And in spite of all what she went through, in spite of all what she's under and all the stress that girl's under, she didn't even look like she was forced to say yes. She just said yes. And I was so happy for that moment. It was a great moment, you know, because one moment was sad with the girl. And then that one new character that was talking about, he was telling, you know, Ellis's the fiance that he just asked to get married. She said, you seen that lake in your vision? He said, yeah, I need to find out more about him as well. But at the end of this, it all said and done with, when Kenny went down the steps, he heard a noise. And I said, man, why don't you pull your gun out? That's the first thing I'm saying to myself, man, pull your sidearm out. And he pulled the sidearm out. I said, there you go. Pull the sidearm out. You know what I said? I said, man, it would be pretty neat if my girl come back. Because I think that girl's so hot. But I think there's something about her, too. And the movie ended, and Sarah is back. Sarah's back. Well, where's she been? You know, where's she been? I'm just wondering where she been. You know, I'm like, where's Sarah been? But anyway, you guys, I was jumping around and stuff like that. But anyway, God bless, take care. Wow. Whew. See, this is good storytelling, good writing, and you don't always have to have a bunch of slash kills, just blood, guts, and gore all over the place. When they do get into that, that's fine. But you know, this is great. And that little boy built that rock that the mom seen down when she was in the tunnel. What's that all about? So many little feathers and little bitty intertwines and stuff like that. God bless. Take care. We'll catch you next video. We'll see you.